So we're going to go for a rare double, triple decker on this one. And since I am going to be criticizing DOA on the financial issues, I want to be upfront there that, again, it's not super extremely bad at this point, but it's not great either. I may seriously have to try to get on public support, which I loathe. I've been there before, but that was like, I just didn't have money. So just the job is cutting back hours, so I've got to figure out what to do. So I am applying to other places, but I'm in a bit of a crunch. So if you can spare anything with Super Chats or any other means, and again, I've really been reluctant to do this, but I'll probably have to try to do a Venmo, whatever that thing is, and the coffee, whatever, and I'll try to get to that. But again, if you can spare the money. So let us talk about the money. And, well, let's get to the substantive issue, which I'll return to in a moment. So DOA, for a while, was berating Helicopter and Aaron and the others, which is true, for brigading his channel and trying to destroy it. For those who don't know internet speak, brigading is basically when you form a conspiracy, and usually larger channels form against a smaller channel to destroy it. That is illegal. Google forbids that, but it does happen. And correctly, DOA was calling that out. But now he is doing the same thing to several other channels, including Ant, DOS, Riddle, you name it. Now, the one currently in danger is DOS. Apparently, DOS will be vindicated. It's not going to be an issue. They're just temporarily gone. They have another channel. Again, this is all murky because you're not supposed to have another channel, but there you are. But now, DOA is blatantly admitting, yes, that's what they're doing. Because he's trying to do this to Henry. But Henry went public with the copyright strike issue, and he's like, "Oh, Henry, why are you so shocked? That's the system." And he had to admit, saying, well, then what about Helicopter? Well, Helicopter, yeah, she's using her legal rights, but she's collaborating with Aaron's. Even though he's blatantly collaborating with Lara, who is also copyright striking these channels. Anyway, let's go over that large hypocrisy. So, in another conversation, DOA and Lara were going around about, you're going to need a lot of money to face down the church, because he's facing all these legal challenges. Now, not all of them have to do with the church. So that's one lie. Some of them are from the UCLA protest, which I would defend DOA there. But he's mixing it all that it's all the church. It's not all the Church of Scientology. So apparently now they have $20,000. And out of nowhere, Lara say, you really need like 40, 50,000 more. I mean, come on. It's the Church of Scientology. And DOA is like, yeah, I guess, I just don't feel comfortable talking about the money. Now, asking for money for legal claims is not bad or even itself wrong, but you got to think about two serious things here. One is cost-benefit analysis. Even if you hand over all this money, and if, hey, the DOA people want to give them $80,000, that is their business. Believe in freedom of autonomy here anyway, at least for a while, but I'm losing faith in all that. Because it's like, well, wait a minute. If you're spending $80,000 to defeat the church, wouldn't you be better off spending the $80,000 to directly challenge the church? The whole point of having these legal cases is to stop Scientology. But if you're paying that much to stop Scientology, you could just spend that money directly to stop Scientology. So, putting that out there. So it just doesn't make sense even as a protester, but that's what DOA is claiming. Or if you want to help the protest, you got to give me $50,000 more. Even though recently with Josiah the Messiah, or whatever his name is, didn't they handle that case for about, I'm trying to remember, I think it was like $6,000, $7,000, right? I don't think it went higher than $20,000. It definitely didn't go like this amount. So they were handling that case for much less money. So I'm being cynical. I think Lara just put out this big number just to get that number, saying, well, guys, if you just give us $50,000 more, that would be appreciated. What the grift here is, though, it's astonishing the presupposition. So you blatantly admit you're trying to censor, destroy other channels. You're blatantly breaking the rules of YouTube, crying that Aaron is abusing the copyright system. Okay, that's complete hypocrisy. It's Lara just supposes we are owed the money. We're fighting the churches. There are many people fighting Scientology. They don't go around saying, I'm owed $50,000. That's why I wanted to make that preface at the beginning. If you guys can give me money to help me out in a certain financial crisis, that would be fine. And goodwill, I'll give you evidence why I need the money because I've got these medical bills too. And that's fair. You're doing an exchange. I'm trying to give you guys research. If you're possible, you can pay me for the research and so on and so forth. what exactly are we getting as a service? Because technically speaking, the end goal would be DOA doesn't go to jail. Like, that's the exchange, right? In other words, what am I getting for $80,000? Oh, DOA doesn't go to jail. And the church is defeated. And you're like, huh? So I pay $50,000, he doesn't go to jail. Correct. And probably he's only going to pay really $30,000 at most. So he's going to keep $20,000 for himself. So really, what you're really saying is, give Lara and DOA $25,000. And they'll call it fighting the church, but really it's just, guys, give us $25,000 because I'm Lara and he's DOA and they're king and queen. Alrighty then, but let's now skip to another king of queens or queen of queens where Aaron, and to be fair to them, they just do it more subtly, are also asking for money and to subsidize their lifestyle because they're protesting the church. So Jenna put up this dumb video diary of her being in New York because, you know, women have never been to New York. Apparently this is a world revolutionary protest she did. So she's like, guys, it was amazing being in New York with my friends protesting Scientology. The protest in question was her walking around with other, quote, anti-Scientologists, just talking. And what did they talk about? Oh, Jenna, you want Joe's Pizza? No, there's a line for Joe's Pizza. There's a line. We can't go there, Jenna. I'm going to give you a hot dog. Put the chili dog, your anus. Yeah, so that was the big protest, is Aaron handing Jenna money to pay for hot dog chili dog. And by the way, I guess I'm cultural ignoramus. And listen, I could show you guys proof. I've been to New York tons of times, like tons of times. I haven't been there recently, so the thing keeps changing. But, I don't know. Oof. This is the first time I went to New York. I was fairly young. So, I never even heard about Joe's Pizza. I've been there a ton of times. Tons of times. I've been there for even academic stuff, research stuff, just rarely for pleasure. I usually go there for job interviews or some business. It's very rarely. I just want to hang out in the cities. One time I actually went to a conference. I had to go to New York and then to Buffalo, and that was a whole trip because Buffalo is really outside. Anyways, I never even heard of Joe's Pizza until recently. Like, oh, Joe's Pizza is a thing? Joe's Pizza is apparently world famous. Not to us. So maybe it's one of these things that people on the outside, maybe New York just advertises very well in Florida or where Jenna is in California, say, come to New York and eat at Joe's Pizza. So anyway, what's the activism we're going to subsidize here? It's Iranis trying to lose weight, by the way, and Jenna eating pizza at Joe's Pizza and taking photos of each other. And Jenna sharing life wisdom, saying, guys, the last day little Jenna was by herself. Iranis apparently went to Florida to hang out with his beer and drug, apparently. Anyways, she's like, it wasn't as special because I didn't have peoples around me. Wow, deep Buddhist knowledge we're getting from Jenna's. But you gotta hand it to Aaron. He's just more subtle. He gets in trouble with the law, right? Stalking Zero Dark Tony, stalking these quote, Scientologists who are not Scientologists. Like he had that infamous case with the black man with the dog. The guy was not a Scientologist. I know that the rumor mills and the interwebs. You're such a coward. Aaron puts himself out there facing that black Scientologist. He's not a black Scientologist. There's no evidence he's a Scientologist. Apparently he just likes the church, but hated the protesters. And there you go. He may be delusional. He's not a Scientologist. But anyway, so Aaron gets into fights with not even real Scientologists and even real Scientologists who are small old women and wants us to pay for it, saying, guys, it's amazing. Now, the police, oh my God. They're saying, Iranis, what are you doing? Running up to small little women, yelling at them. And I'm like, I'm Iranis. I'm fighting the churches. Right. But he never says, guys, I'm not saying I need the money. No, but if you could just give me the money. And again, I'm kind of doing the same thing, so I'm going to be fair with hypocrisy there. However, there is a difference. I'm saying to subsidize me to help the research, because if I'm financially in a bit of a, which I am, in a bit of a situation, so got to be careful. And listen, I do have a family, so I may have to reluctantly call some people up and be like, I need a little bit of a loan here, because it's not great. But we'll see what happens. But see, here's an added thing that makes us different. Because Aaron wants the money to pay for the beer and pizza, so wait for it. Pharaoh Cheryl and Eric Radur can join him in his protest. The protest is they drink the beer, they eat the pizza, hanging out, and their protesting is eating the pizza, drinking beer. And you might be like, that's not much of a protest. But see, here's the thing. Tom Cruise, the cutout of Tom Cruise is nearby. That makes it a protest. And they're like, honk your horn if it's a cult. Which the deep irony is, if I were in Florida in a taxi cab, I would probably tell the driver, hey, could you honk the horn? And say, wow, well, there is a cult. Well, there's actually two cults. But see, there you go. But I'm not trying to subsidize an authoritarian neo-fascist cult. I'm just looking for some money in a rough spot. Whereas Aaron has plenty of money, but he's spending the money going on field trips to New York to protest. And the protest is him and Jenna going to a pizza place and eating hot dogs together. That's a protest that he's asking to be subsidized. Because, if Aaron's not subsidizing his hot dogs, what's he going to do? Ask Nora for the money for hot dogs? No, Nora has her own hot dogs. There you are. So, there we go. But again, if you guys can help out, that's great. If you can't, I understand that. I'm going to put some new material for channel members. So please go there if you want extra content. I will be doing something for the higher tiers. If you could afford the higher tier, that's great. But give whatever you can. Thanks. But hey, I don't want to begrudge Jenna and her video diary, but really, I didn't learn anything. Certainly not about Buddhism or pizza. So she's got to do it better if she wants to be subsidized for her field trips.